So it goes without saying that Platinum End is definitely the heaviest anime of the fall season. And what I mean by that is it deals with like the most heaviest topics of any anime that I've seen, honestly, in quite a while. The moment that you introduce in your writing and in your show, you introduce, death and suicide and things of that nature, like these are some seriously heavy topics. And then on top of that, the premise of the show is kind of like a kill game kind of thing. It's like a Squid Games, Hunger Games type thing, to where you're pitting 13 individuals racing, kind of not racing, but they're against each other to be God, right? So that's going to introduce a lot of bloodshed between the 13 individuals, but there's also going to be, extensional and outward bloodshed as well in a lot of different forms. In this episode specifically, we got this dude who thinks himself a hero, and he went to go save a bank robbery, but he did it all with the intention of killing the people that were trying to rob the bank, which he did. He had one kill another, and then he had one that he used his white arrow on. So there's going to be a lot of continued heaviness. It's not too often, especially like on Crunchyroll where I'm watching this anime, that I see an indicator like, hey, this is for mature audiences. Honestly, even when you watch a lot of more, ecchi type stuff, like there really isn't like a whole lot of warning. It's just kind of like it's a normality almost. Well, we probably will get certain things of that nature, because in this specific episode, we got one of the 13 candidates who was exploiting his red arrow and having a good time with a lot of pop idols. And we know we're going to get scenes of that nature, but I actually kind of like the way that they're done here, because they're not in the forced sense. They're not in the sense of like what we normally get. This is more like it's one of the abilities being used, and being used in like some grossly wrong ways. So the good thing is they didn't really spend like a whole lot of time really like showing us what was going on, which I kind of appreciate. They kind of like glaze over it like they would in like a rated R movie or something like that, right? We've all seen those movies of like, a certain scene happening in like a club or a party setting, right? And they never really show you much, but they kind of like show you, but they glaze over it. I felt like it was that, and I thought it was like very well done to try and like convey what was going on. Then obviously you have Gotcha Man over there, whatever his name, Militia Man, and he comes in and he kills that dude, right? So we know there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot of like bloodshed, a lot of like heavy stuff, which is not going to be for everybody. What I was telling you to the viewers, what I was telling you guys during our reaction video, and if you haven't watched our reaction, click the pinned cards, click the pinned comments. But I was saying, like this anime deals with some heavy shit. And the episode 1 like triggered me. Now it didn't trigger me as like, oh, I got offended, or oh, I couldn't watch whatever was going on, or there was too much ecchi borderline H word stuff going on. It wasn't any triggered from like that sense. There was one specific scene, if you guys watched my last week episode, I talked about it, but there was one specific scene to where Mirai was hovering over his now deceased dead aunt. And during that time, she's she's bleeding out. He's in a pool of blood, and he puts his hand in her pool of blood, and he like puts his face down. He puts himself in, and it just like grossed me out in a way to where like my whole body, like, I could feel like my like hair stand up, and it just like I couldn't do it. And I haven't had a reaction like that from an anime in a while. And I watched a ton of anime. And, gross stuff, throwing up, and ugly foods, and ecchi, and all of this stuff, and I haven't had that feeling in a really long time to where I'm like, something like, just like, I can't deal with it moment. But I did get that last week. So what I'm trying to get to is I don't think this anime is going to be for everyone, just because of the topics, the way it's handling stuff, and it may get less heavy. It might get more heavy as we go on. I don't really know. Like, the end of the day, we know this is from the creator of Death Note, and it seems like this is going to be like some serious stuff that they're working on, and really good work of fiction that they created here. So I don't know if it's gonna be for everyone, but I really enjoy it so far. I really like it. Episode 1, I think, was fantastic. I think it was an excellent episode. One of the best episode 1s of an anime showing, like to really hook you and really get you interested in the show. I feel like episode 2 was a continuation of more than like an additional showing of. It's introducing another character. It's introducing the stakes that are at hand, which is competing against the 13. But now Mirai understands that death is in the mix, right? He now understands that he might have to kill or be killed, kind of thing. He understands now that he may not want to be God, but to live past these 999 days, past these like roughly 3 years, he knows he's going to have to kill these other people, whether he does it by using the white arrow, whether he does it by making themselves off themselves with the red arrow, whether, he doesn't kill them directly but has someone else do it. He knows that he's going to have to off these people some way. And the angels are promoting that, like they're backing that type of nature. They're backing that type of thing for them to do. Another important thing that I thought in this episode as well is one of the things that Nessa pointed out to Mirai was that the people that were chosen were the people who want to instill change into the world. So they were people who had, in his case, he gave up on himself, but he had also given up on the world because of his specific situation. So he's dealing with other people who have a variety of different situations, but regardless, they gave up on the holistic world and they want to change it, whether that is changing it in like a dictatorship, changing it in their views, molding it, whatever the case is. They want to change the world. So I thought that was a very important thing too. We also learned the hierarchy of the angels. We learned the special rank, the first rank, and the second rank angels. And we learned that second rank can only bestow red. First rank can bestow, I think it was red and white. And then special rank can bestow red, white, and wings. And different angels have pre-existing ranks, but they can be ranked up. And when they're ranked up, they can then bestow the next ability to the people that they're guarding. One of the people here did die, and we saw him not get penalized. So it seems like the angels, they just go home. They don't win. They just kind of go home if their person dies, which is a good thing. For the angels, not so good for the competitors. And we don't know exactly what happens to the competitor's spirit, soul, etc. when they die. We don't know if it's like a permanent thing. We don't know if they also get taken up to heaven or whatever the case is. We don't know any of that yet, but I'm sure the anime will flesh that out. Last thing I'll say is there was a moment of predictability in the anime. The Gotcha Man, Machina Man, whatever the hell his name is, Melon Man, he says that he's in high school, and I was like, please, there is a bajillion high schools. There's a bajillion schools in Japan. Don't tell me he's going to go to the same school because the anime of Mirai, and sure freaking enough, he's in the same school. Mirai goes to his first day of school. He sees the angel. He freaks the F out, and he's like, be cool, and the angel notices him, and that's where he got left off on. Overall, I think the episode was really good. I don't think it was like the best episode. I think it was a solid 8 out of 10, but if you mix that with like the 9.5 anime episode of episode 1 that we got on episode 1, you mix that together, you get like an 8.9 or something. It's really damn good is what I'm trying to say. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure you guys check out our reaction of this week's episode right here. And if you want to see more fall anime, there's gonna be one right here, so click that too. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 3. Hope to talk to you guys in the comments. Peace out, friends.